Hey, it's Kerry with Divine Radiance, and today I want to talk about receiving and how important receiving is in your life, and how we don't know how to do it. We're not taught how to do it. Most of us are taught to give, and that will put us in good graces and build good karma. But however, receiving is a very important part. Remember, it's always about balance. We need to balance receiving with giving. Now, we don't necessarily have to receive from the world, right? We can receive from God. So in A Course in Miracles, it says, you always receive as much as you accept, which is a beautiful quote when you really think about it. You always receive as much as you accept. And God, the universe's bounty is unlimited. The gifts wants to shine upon you, so why don't we accept it? We're not accepting these amazing gifts. So when I was in meditation, I was shown for myself, because I have issues with receiving. So I'm sharing my experience with you, and then maybe it can help you to start learning how to receive. So in my meditation, I was shown this door, this like steel, wood, barred door that I had up, preventing me from receiving all of these abundance and gifts. And what was holding up that door was shame and guilt. Shame and guilt are the lowest vibratory emotions that we can experience. And most of us carry an immense amount of shame and guilt around with us. And what do those emotions make us feel? Unworthy. Those emotions make us feel unworthy of the gifts, of being able to receive the gifts that want to be bestowed upon us. So we don't. We shut the door. We don't allow. And what we think in our mind is that, well, then I have to give. I need to give to make myself feel better, because I don't feel really good necessarily. I don't feel worthy because I have all this guilt and shame. So let me just give. And then you overgive. We tend to give too much. And that creates an imbalance in our heart chakra. Okay, so as a healer, I've never had a client that had a balanced heart chakra. All the other chakras vary per person, but the heart one is always off, because we tend to give more than we receive. And you're like, well, aren't we supposed to do that? No, we're supposed to be balanced in receiving. Not necessarily receiving from the outside world, but receiving from God, receiving God's love. That's how we're supposed to receive. If you think of Mother Teresa, right? I'll give you two examples. My mother, who I consider to be a martyr, and the difference between a martyr and a saint. So a martyr is someone who feels like they need to give. So my sister was a drug addict with mental illness, and my mom enabled her. Instead of getting her the help she needed or put up the boundaries to protect herself from my sister and all the abuse, she took it, meaning she thought she was loving her in a way. So she gave. Well, turns out, of course, she ended up with both breast cancer and lung cancer, which ended up killing her. It's no surprise now that I have an understanding is that she gave and she did not know how to receive from God or from any other external help or sources. And then you look at Mother Teresa, who's a saint, right? She gave till she was 87 years old and never tired and rarely got sick or anything, right? And you're like, well, she gave. Well, Mother Teresa didn't have that door, right? She didn't have that door blocking God's love, universal love. She knew how to receive properly. So she's able to receive joy and love from source. So yes, then she could give. So her flow was powerful. She had a powerful receiving flow and a very powerful giving flow, but she was balanced. That's how she was able to do it. The balance is the key, not how much you give, but as long as what you're giving, you're still receiving. So important. And we see this in relationships. So often right now. What is the word you hear so often with women who are struggling in relationships is narcissists, how there's so many narcissists out there. Well, if we are one of those women who give, guess who we're going to attract? we're going to attract someone who wants to take. Now, my clients always tend to be the overgivers. Those are the ones seeking healing, seeking help. But with that imbalance that we create, we're going to have the polar opposite, meaning there are going to be the takers, the energy vampires, the narcissists who want to take, and they will be able to see that you're a giver, and they will take, and they will take, and they will take, and they know what to say, they know how to rope you in, but they are going to monopolize on your over giving. So, and then you might see that also. Maybe you might also, there might be a healthy guy that you're attracted to. This is how it was kind of shown to me, is that if you can't receive that person's, if you don't feel worthy, say you like this guy, right? You really like this guy, and you almost don't feel worthy of this guy, right? So you kind of block off the receiving. He might really be into you, but you have a wall up. And that wall reflects and repels any attraction, any like that they have for you. So what happens is it gets reflected back on them, and it becomes too much. They might feel like you're too much. You're coming on too strong. You're a bit too into the relationship. Now, I've been on that side of the coin. I've also been on the receiving side, because we do see this with men as well, right? The nice guys finish last type thing, where guys are like, well, I'm so nice, why do these girls always go for the bad? But they're probably coming on too strong. They don't feel worthy of you, so they're not accepting your attraction towards them, and that's repelled. And for me, for that type of guy, it would feel like they were too much. It didn't feel balanced. It didn't feel right. Healthy relationships are when both come together and both are equal in their giving and taking capabilities, and it's more equal, right? We don't want to have the imbalance. And some relationships happen. Like some relationships are, one side is just giving, and the other side is taking more because that's what that person wants, that person, and it works. It can be symbiotic that way. However, that woman or that man most likely at some point in their life might experience heart disease, lung cancer, breast cancer, anything in this heart area, because the imbalance is off. They could probably do that for most of their life, but towards the end of the life, that imbalance will catch up as some form of disease. And we see that a lot with our women, and we also see it with men as well. So we want to learn how to balance. So how do we do that? We need to heal, right? We need to let go of the shame and the guilt, and we need to heal that in one way or the other. And so with releasing that, we will feel our worth. Now, the only word that I can describe, or that came to me when I was shown how I was not feeling my true worth, is inestimable. Our worth, every one of us, right, has inestimable worth. Your worth is inestimable. It is so grand you can't even imagine, because you came from the same creator that created this whole entire universe. That same creator wanted you to be here. It willed you to be. It willed you into existence and loves you and tremendously. But yet we don't feel worthy of that because of this guilt and shame. So we need to release that through therapy, through 12-step programs, energy healing, crystal healing, sound healing, breath work, right? There's so many different ways of healing. There's different modalities to try. Get on a spiritual path, start meditating, start praying. All of these things will help you to start releasing that guilt, that shame, so that you can start receiving God's love, God's grace, God's joy, right? So that we can start feeling that and experiencing that. And then we become more balanced, because we're going to start receiving from the source rather than feeling like we need to receive from a relationship or from a person. We don't need to get affirmations outside of ourselves, right? That we're worthy enough. We're going to start feeling worthy from inside, and then we will start attracting not only really healthy, good relationships, but also abundance, because that is our divine inheritance, is to be fully joyful, abundant, healthy, right? So if you're not healthy, you don't know how to receive as well. Any of those that are off, whether it's money, whether it's relationships, it kind of goes into all of the categories, because all of those things we can receive. And as we've seen in the suppression of the divine feminine, right? So now remember, with feminine, I don't mean women necessarily, I meant feminine qualities. And we're all supposed to be balanced in masculine and feminine. But receiving is the feminine quality and doing is the masculine. So we found that women in society have almost gone too far in the doing. The suppression of the receiving has caused women, just in a very general term, to start doing too much. They take care of the kids, they're also working full time, they're taking care of the household, they're taking care of the shopping, taking care of all of these things. It's creating an imbalance, and men are like, what am I left to do, right? I used to just bring home the bacon now, right? So it's got to be that balance where both parties are both doing and receiving, to have it be symbiotic. What else? Oh, so that connection with the suppression of the divine feminine and the suppression of our intuitive abilities, right? Because intuition is receiving. Intuition is receiving guidance and wisdom from the spiritual realm. Divinely so, but that's been suppressed as well. So that's part of it. So once we start learning how to receive in general, we will also we will reawaken our intuitive qualities, our intuitive gifts, that then again will aid us in our life, because then we will start receiving guidance and wisdom and put us on a really good path. So that's my talk on receiving. Please let me know if any of this resonates with you, if it makes sense, if you have any stories to share in regards to it. And yeah, please subscribe and share. Likes are always appreciated, and I'll see you soon.